Hello guys and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be making my predictions for game week number 14 of the 25-26 Premier League season. It's a midweek set of matches, but let's see how I did it over the weekend. I got 3 outcomes correct, so that is 3 points, taking my season total up to 82. And here is how the table looks after 13 matches. And without further ado, let's predict this midweek. And we start with Fulham against Manchester City. And this is a tricky one to predict. Fulham with a 2-1 win against Tottenham at the weekend. Manchester City with a narrow 3-2 win against Leeds. I wouldn't say Man City were overly impressive at the weekend. And Fulham they've got 2 wins in a row now. And at Craven Cottage, I could see them getting something. But it's against Man City. Man City seem to grind results out, just narrowly over the line. So I'm going to go for a Man City win here. 2-1. I think it's going to be close. And it's going to be a bit scrappy, I think. But ultimately, City get the job over the line, and the blue side of Manchester get 3 more points, so 2-1 City. Next up, we've got Bournemouth against Everton, and this is a tricky one to predict because Bournemouth their form hasn't been great as of late, and Everton, they beat Man United 1-0 on last Monday, and then they went and... Did they win? No. Did they draw? Oh no, of course. They lost 4-1 to Newcastle over the weekend. Keenan Dewsbury Hall scoring the goal for them. This one's tricky because with it being at the Vitality, I could see Bournemouth getting something. But Everton on their day can get results over the line. I think it's going to be cagey. Part of me wants to go for an Everton win. Part of me wants to go for a draw. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to set up the fence with a 1-1 draw. I think both sides will be fairly happy with a point. I don't know who that benefits really, but a point apiece and a share of the spoils on this one. Next up, we've got Newcastle against Tottenham. And it's a battle of 2 differing results. Spurs losing 2-1 to Fulham. Newcastle with that 4-1 hammering of Everton over the weekend. Newcastle have been better at home than on the road this season. Spurs haven't been great on the road. With this being at St James's Park, I can only see one winner here, and that's the Magpies. I think Spurs haven't been on the greatest run of form recently. It depends what Spurs side shows up, but for me, I'm going for Newcastle. I'm going for quite comfortable as well. I think there'll be goals in this one, but I'm going for Newcastle to win 3-1. I think Spurs need a reaction at some point, but I think that's more than likely to come at home this season. I don't know, but I'm going for the Magpies to round out their 4-1 hammering with another hammering, 3-1. And then we move on to Wednesday night's matches. It's Brighton against Aston Villa. And Villa with that 1-0 narrow win against Wolves. I think in terms of possession and shots, they were the much better side in that match, as you might come to expect. As for Brighton, 2-0 victors against Forest over the weekend, which I wasn't exactly predicting, with Forest being on a good run of form. But with this being at the Amex, it's tricky. I want to say draw. I just look at Villa don't tend to score that many goals, and I think Brighton do. I could see Brighton winning at home, but I am going for a draw. It's just a matter of how many goals. I'm going to go with I'm going to sit on the fence with a Desmond on this one, a 2-all draw. I think a point will help both sides push up toward, well, to maintain their push for Europe this season currently. So a 2-all draw, a Desmond on this one. Next up, we've got Burnley against Crystal Palace. And Burnley, they lost over the weekend. They lost 3-1 to Brentford. Brentford were, well, it was 0-0 for about 80 minutes of the match, and 81 on had all 4 goals scored, 2 penalties, and Brentford scored 2 more goals as well, incredibly. As for Palace, they they just lost 2-1 to Man United. I was at the pub watching the game yesterday. Thing is, this is at Turf Moor, and at Turf Moor Burnley can get results. And Palace, they've been on a bit of a shaky run of form recently. So, this may be controversial, but I'm going for Burnley to get something here. I'm going for a 1-all draw. I think Palace have an intense run of games, and I think that could tire them out slightly. So I'm going for a share of the spoils on this one, a point apiece. Next up, we've got a relegation 6-pointer, kind of. It's Wolves against Nottingham Forest. And Wolves are, they've only got 2 points all season. I don't see them getting anything here. But before I talk about both sides, I just want to say, send my condolences out to the family of Josh Travis, who the Nottingham Forest academy player who sadly passed away on Wednesday at the age of 14, very, very young, and I just want to send my condolences to his family for that. And then on to the match, Wolves against Forest. Wolves with that narrow 1-0 defeat against Villa. Strand Larsen scored, but it was ruled off for offside, I think. And Forest with that 2-0 loss against Brighton at the City Ground. But it is at Molineux, and I could see Wolves scoring a goal here, but they've only scored 7 goals all season. And I think Forest, despite that blip against Brighton, I still think they're in a good run of form. So, I think Forest will get back to winning ways here. I'm going for the clean sheet as well. I'm going Forest to win 2-0. I think Sean Dyche will get the ball rolling again with Forest, and they'll push even further away from the drop zone. So 2-0 Forest. Next up, we've got Arsenal against Brentford. And obviously, as I've already said, Brentford with that 3-1 win against Burnley, which again doesn't really tell the full story there. I mean, it was 0-0 for a long time, very close match, but Brentford shown their quality in the last 10 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes of the match, to get the 3 points over the line. Arsenal with that 1-all draw against 10-man Chelsea last night, and I think this is at the Emirates, and I think Arsenal will go back to winning ways here. I think they might still be unbeaten in the Premier League this season, if I'm not mistaken. Someone can check up on that in the comments below. But I'm going for Everton. I'm going for Arsenal to get back to winning ways here. Brentford on their day can get results over the line, and I do prefer them at the G-Tech. But with it being at the Emirates, I'm going to edge Arsenal 2-1. I think it's going to be a fairly close match, but Arsenal just narrowly grind out the result. So 2-1 to the Gunners. Next up, we've got Leeds against Chelsea. And Leeds at Elland Road, I have tended to like in the Championship and this season in the Prem. so far, but they nearly got a result against Man City over the weekend. But Chelsea, they've got quality. I mean, they had Moises Caicedo sent off for a reckless tackle on Mikel Merino against Arsenal over the weekend. But I still think Chelsea have enough quality to beat this Leeds side. Daniel Farke is under, some pressure as the Leeds boss, and I think he'll continue to feel the pressure. Chelsea will win this match 3-1 in my prediction. I think Chelsea have more than enough quality to get the 3 points over the line here against the Leeds side, who are in the drop zone now, and I think they will continue to struggle here. 3-1 to the Blues. Next up, we've got Liverpool against Sunderland. And Sunderland narrowly, with that narrow 3-2 victory against Bournemouth last week. And Liverpool finally got back to winning ways 2-0 against West Ham. And I believe we're going to talk about West Ham on the final match. But Liverpool needed that win. They incredibly got that win without Mo Salah playing. That was quite an interesting thing there. This game is back at Anfield, and as much as I'd like to believe Liverpool are back on form, they're against a Sunderland side who I think they've lost twice this season, but they don't tend to lose many games, and as much as I could see this being a Liverpool win here, I do want to give Sunderland something. They've been very impressive this season. What I can see happening is Liverpool being a goal up or so, and Sunderland find a last-minute equaliser. They've got a last-minute equaliser and then a last-minute winner on back-to-back game weeks. I think they might do the same against Liverpool here. I'm going 2-2. I'm going for a Desmond on this one. I think both sides are going to be fairly happy with a point and then push on to this weekend going for Europe again. But a 2-2 draw to help them towards their European goals. And then finally, we've got Manchester United against West Ham United. And Manchester United with that turnaround 2-1 victory against Crystal Palace last week. West Ham with that 2-0 defeat to Liverpool yesterday as well. I mean, the Man United goals, 2 free kicks. There weren't any open goals in that game. Palace with a penalty, and then Man United with 2 free kick goals. But West Ham, they didn't look the best against Liverpool here at the London Stadium yesterday. And of course, Lucas Paqueta, I don't know what he was thinking. He just came back from a suspension and then got angry and got another red card yesterday. So he's going to be missing this game. But with all that being said, back at Old Trafford, I think Man United will narrowly get the win over the line. I'm going United to win 2-1. The Red Devils need to go on another mini run, and I think they will here, and push up towards Europe once again with a 2-1 victory. And there you have it, guys, all 10 matches for this midweek in the Premier League predicted. Make sure to let me know your predictions down in the comments below, and we'll see how well I do when I come back to make my weekend predictions later in the week. And yeah, we'll see how I do then, but for now, that's me done, and I'll see you all in the next one.